All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants session with the Aquarius Reef Base. Thank you for those who are joining in. We have a smaller group today because we've learned that the ocean and the waves and the weather just aren't cooperating with us today. So there's a buoy attached to the lab, and that's what they use for their internet signal. But unfortunately, with all the movement and the waves, it has kind of changed the orientation of things. So we're just not able to connect. But we're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying until we get one of these to go. But we're very lucky to be joined by Eileen today. Eileen works in the education outreach at FIU, Florida International University. And she has a great presentation with pictures and video that will make us feel like we're there until we're there for real. So Eileen, thank you so much for joining us today. These things are a risk when you try to connect to the bottom of the ocean. So I know classrooms understand that. And any kind of connection where we learn about the world around us, I think is worthwhile. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe. And I really do apologize to Joe, first and foremost. We've been trying to do these for some time, as well as the classes that joined us. I know talking to me here up on land is probably not as exciting as meeting aquanauts that are living 60 feet below the ocean surface. But we will keep trying, and unfortunately, we cannot control Mother Nature. The winds have just been blowing for the last 2 weeks, and like Joe said, it's just causing our internet signal to just, we pretty much have lost all complete contact except for radio with everyone down there. Everyone is still safe. They're doing great. We are in the middle of a mission with the United States Navy. They're actually using Aquarius for training. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do my best to bring Aquarius to you guys in terms of what Aquarius is and what an amazing asset it is for ocean research and as a training platform, not only for the Navy, but also for astronauts. So we're going to be talking a little bit about how inner space meets outer space with Aquarius. So I'm sure you guys are going to have tons of questions and things you want to discuss. So if you don't mind, we'll hold that till the end. And what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to start the presentation. So you guys ready to learn a little bit about Aquarius? Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you, guys. All right, so here we go. Joe, just tell me if I'm doing something wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and screen share, full screen.
All right, I'm watching. I should appear on your screen shortly.
Okay, start screen share. All right, there you are, Joe. All right.
Looks
All right,
good.
Can everyone see that?
We're
Can
good.
everyone see that? Awesome. Okay, guys, and you guys can still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, so once again, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Eileen, and I am the Director of Education for the Medina Aquarius Reef Base. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to briefly share something pretty spectacular with you guys. Without further ado, here we go. So for the next couple minutes, I'm going to take you guys on an incredible journey where science fiction is, in fact, science reality. Where explorers young and old are pushing the boundaries and challenging the conventional thinking of it cannot be done. Where man and machine interact seamlessly in an extreme environment. And pioneers learn how to sample an asteroid and even colonize Mars. Where sensors are unlocking the mysteries of a 4-billion-year-old planet so that we can gain some insight on how man is altering the climate in mere geological seconds. A place where expeditionary medicine is tested in the most trying conditions so that what we learn can be applied in remote areas and in poor, impoverished regions of the world. And what you guys are looking at there is actually a surgery that took place on a dummy inside Aquarius. The doctor or the surgeon was actually in Texas, and the dummy was 60 feet underwater in the Florida Keys. So we do this because if astronauts do go to space and maybe suffer from something like appendicitis, then we need to be able to do remote medicine. So Aquarius is also a platform for this type of research, not just marine biology, but this type of medical research. Aquarius is also a place where we study the human condition so that we can determine how man reacts to stress, sleep deprivation, confinement, and isolation. It's a place or a laboratory where scientists gather data to help policymakers manage natural resources like coral reefs fairly and cost-effectively, and thus empowers you and I to act and be more sustainable in our actions and be more responsible in how we treat this planet. And my favorite, it's a place where teachers get energized, artists inspired, and the next generation, which is you all, motivated to change the world. It's a place where creativity and a sense of exploration are primary job requirements, and where your talents and energy can help us shape the future. Welcome to Aquarius, guys. Oh no, wait, I lost the video. Hold on one second. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me 1 second because I want to show you guys a video. Hold on a sec. I think I did something. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. Hold on.
That's okay. Sometimes if the video gets moved, it
I think it did.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think it's here. No. Oh no, how did the video? I lost this such a great video. Hold on 1 sec. Is it this one? No, give me 1 second.
That's okay. If it's on YouTube too, I can pull it up for you.
Yeah, it's Welcome Aquarius. Can you pull it up for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It's not, let's see. There's a lot of things called Welcome Aquarius.
All right. It's an FIU one. It should have like a boat in the front.
Oh, here we go. One that came up here is called FIU Aquarius Base.
Let's try it out.
Celebrating the reopening of the base.
I don't. Hold on. I'm stuck in here.
It's okay.
Hold on 1 sec.
If you unshare your screen, I can share my screen.
All right. I think for some reason my computer is like frozen. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. My computer's just stuck. Oh, there we go.
And then if you just kind of close the screen you have open or minimize it, you'll see the Hangout screen again. And if you push the green Share Screen button, you'll come back.
Nothing is happening when I'm clicking that.
What about if you hit Escape?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I'm stuck.
Can you continue with the presentation?
Yeah, let's just do that, and then we'll show the video afterward.
All right.
But now my computer's completely stuck. It's not moving. Oh no!
We are having just great technology luck today.
This is terrible.
If it's not the waves, it's just a computer in general.
Oh my goodness, what's going on? I can't do anything.
That's okay. Why don't you?
You want me to rejoin? Let me try to log off and get back in.
Rejoin, and in between, I'll show them an Aquarius video.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, folks. I'll be right back.
These things happen. It's
Okay.
technology. Okay. All right. Well, you've got me now. So let's. I've got a couple Aquarius videos here. Let's take a look at this one here from Nova. So here we go. Yeah, that looks like a good one. So I'm sharing my screen. There we go. And here we go with the video.
Asked me if I miss like running around in a field or something. I was like, no, I'm running around on the bottom of the ocean.
For the last 2 weeks, I've been living underwater as part of Mission 31. I was a mission scientist.
Welcome to your home.
Thank you.
Aquarius is an underwater habitat. It is on the sea floor at 63 feet, and it houses up to 6 people at a time so that you can conduct underwater research. It's a one-of-a-kind space underwater. There's no other marine lab underwater in the world. The habitat is small, it's cozy, it's about the size of a school bus, 400 square feet.
And as you can see right outside the window, there's the ocean floor about 63 feet down. There's some fish swimming around.
Normally when I'm a surface diver, I'm always worried about bottom time. When you're diving into the you have about that's not very much. But as aquanauts, that's a diver after living underwater for so long, we can dive for up to 9 hours a day. For our 2 weeks underwater, we accomplished what we could have done in about 2 years from the surface. We came with 5 different science goals, overall looking at global climate change and how it might affect coral reefs such as concrete where birds adapt. And so we took the approach of looking at tiny microclimates such as inside a barrel sponge or inside the mouth of a tiny coral polyp to address what might happen if we have warming of the oceans or if they're becoming more acidic in the environment that is surrounding these organisms. I think one of the most intense moments I've had underwater was during this first dive with the helmet, where we had to flood the mask. We had to flood the helmet by laying down and breaking the seal at our neck and letting water in, and then we had to stand up and clear it out. And it was an instantaneous thing. It took less than 15 seconds, but I was still pretty nervous about that. After all of the diving I've done, that is one of the most scary moments. Sylvia is a Goliath grouper. She hangs out around Aquarius habitat. They are able to use their anatomy to create this sound wave that travels through the water, which is their way of stunning prey or communicating with each other. There was a moment where I crept towards her and was actually able to just hang out with Sylvia for about 20 minutes. And then right before she left, she flew right at me and it went right through my chest. It's like being in a big rock concert or something. And then she just kind of went away. All right, enough's enough. You had 20 minutes with me. But it looks like an aquarium from your viewpoint, but you are the aquarium. It is the ocean, and fish are looking in at you. And at night especially, it starts out as tiny plankton swarming to the light around the habitat, followed by larger types of planktonic animals eating those, and then small.
I'm sorry.
It was like the food chain unraveling in front of the report every night. It was awesome.
All right, we have permission. Secure your exhaust valves. All right, commence blowdown.
All right.
It was very
I hope that played okay for everyone. Did you see that video okay, guys? Thumbs up if you saw it. Good. So we played a little video from Mission 31 was the one that popped up. So they got a good little look at the base and what it was like kind of entering and exiting and a few other little things.
Okay, perfect. And I got the video back up. So I'm sorry about that. So we'll continue if it's okay with you all. Sorry about that hiccup, guys.
It's okay.
All right. Yeah.
Weight belt down. Synchronize your watches if you care to. Verify your computers. Make sure they're on. Second air. Good battery. Read both regulators, primary and secondary.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Aquarius. Aquarius is a remote saturation diving lab that's deployed in 63 feet of seawater. It is 43 feet long by 9 feet in diameter and consists of a wet porch where divers enter and exit the lab and 2 locks that can be independently pressurized. These are the entry lock and the main lock. The entry lock contains the bathroom and most of the mission-specific equipment. The main lock is in the living area and contains the galley or the kitchen and the bunks for 6 people. So we normally can fit 6 aquanauts in here comfortably at any given time. Now Aquarius is connected to the life support buoy or the LSB right up at the surface. And that's what's been giving us some trouble sometimes because the life support buoy is what contains air compressors, generators, and the telecommunications equipment. Now, through a microwave link, Aquarius is in constant contact to mission control, except today, obviously, 9 miles away on shore, which is where I'm located. Now, since aquanauts are saturated, they cannot surface without undergoing a lengthy decompression, which means once they scuba dive down there and they stay down there, they can't come up to the surface. Okay? So what we do is we actually set up a line highway for the folks that are in Aquarius to reduce the risk of them getting lost on the bottom when they're working at remote study sites. So there you have the life support buoy. It's connected to Aquarius by way of a 200-foot cable. Aquarius is connected to a base plate which is attached to a sandy bottom located right next to one of the most beautiful coral reefs in the Keys called Conch Reef. Conch Reef is part of the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, so it really does allow scientists to get a glimpse of coral reef ecosystems, study them, and be able to monitor them and manage them much better. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to watch another video from Andy Mogensen from the European Space Agency. He's an astronaut that has trained at Aquarius several times, and he actually lived in the International Space Station this past September. He's going to give us a look at the inside of the habitat.
Tuesday evening, we're in the habitat under the sea. That can only mean one thing: the mission has started. Let's meet the crew.
Hey there, I'm Joe LaCava. I'm a NASA astronaut and commander for C-Test 2.
Hey, soy Chinobuchi from JAXA. Good to be back in the weight lift.
Kate Rubens, NASA astronaut, and I'm pretty happy to be here.
And I'm Andy from ESA, and we're really excited, all of us, to start the C-Test mission. And we welcome you to the Habitat Aquarius. Let's take a tour. This is the entry port with the moon pool. As you can see down here behind me, this is where we enter and exit the habitats from. This is where we store our diving equipment. This is where we have all of the air connections. And it also serves up as our shower. Next, we get to the entry lock, which serves as an airlock with the 2 slidable doors. It also has a hygiene station where we can brush our teeth. And most importantly, our comm station where we can talk to the divers who are out on EVA and with Mission Control Center topside. Stepping further into the habitat, we get to the galley where we can prepare our food. We have a small table for eating where Suichi and Kate are sitting. Hey guys.
Hi.
And all the electronics for controlling the habitat. And last but not least, we have our bunk room 6 bunks for the 6 people on board Aquarius. There's not a lot of room, as you can see, but plenty for sleeping.
All right, so how does saturation diving work? All right, so right now you and I are all saturated. We are saturated to 1 atmosphere of pressure. Now maybe you guys have studied this in your science classes. In essence, what happens is that the gas that's dissolved in our blood and in our tissues is the same or proportional to the air pressure in this room or your classroom. We don't experience any adverse effects. We don't feel weird. We feel fine until we alter the air pressure. So what happens when we all go underwater? As you increase the pressure, then more gas goes into your blood and into your tissues. The real beauty of this process is that once you reach a certain depth and you stay there, our tissues become saturated, and then we can stay at that depth indefinitely. So when you go into Aquarius, you can stay down there 2 days, 200 days. It doesn't matter. The only way that we can safely return to the surface is by allowing this gas that's in our blood and in our tissues to slowly come out of our tissues or be exhaled out of our bodies. Since aquanauts inside Aquarius are at about 2.5 atmospheres of pressure, this decompression process takes about 16 long hours. If we don't decompress, the gas inside us expands as we ascend to the surface, and this causes what's called decompression sickness or the bends. Now there's 2 real main advantages to saturation diving over standard scuba diving from the surface. First, aquanauts are given the gift of time. When you dive to a depth of about 95 feet of seawater using air from the surface, from a boat, divers get about 60 minutes to do their work over a 24-hour period of time. So if you're a marine scientist and you really want to study coral reefs, if you dive or scuba dive from a boat, you only have 1 hour a day to do all of your work. If you compare this with saturation diving from Aquarius, these same divers get now 540 minutes per day to do their work, which is equal to 9 hours. So now imagine you're a marine scientist who needs to study coral reefs. Now you have 9 hours a day to make your observations, perform your experiments, collect your data, and really come up with some really cool conclusions. Second, there's an increased safety margin. Our operations are overseen by proficient, highly trained staff that have been doing this for over 20 years. All the aquanauts undergo a rigorous training program for a minimum of 5 days, where they are all taught about scuba diving, diving physiology, and practice using all of the diving and safety gear before the mission begins. And actually, diving from Aquarius reduces the most hazardous part of any scuba dive, which is entering and exiting the water from the boat, where a lot of accidents actually happen, and descending and ascending multiple times over the course of a number of days, which can also be very dangerous. Aquarius was built with safety in mind. We have redundant systems in place, and it actually has the capability to function independently from the surface for a minimum of 72 hours. So here is a little graphic that really explains the mission of Aquarius. What is it that we do? First and foremost, our mission is science research. Okay, we do quite a bit of research in terms of marine science. We just conducted a study looking at the impacts of sharks on coral reefs. We look at how coral reefs are changing over time. We are a coral reef and ocean observation platform. Aquarius has been in the same spot since 1993. So we have over 20 years of research and data on this exact same location, and we've really been able to document how coral reefs in the Florida Keys and here in South Florida have really changed over time in a negative way, unfortunately. We also do quite a bit in terms of training. So we train astronauts. We also train Navy divers. The United States Navy uses Aquarius as an extension of their diving saturation facility, and NASA astronauts simulate extreme space environments by going to Aquarius and living underwater. We do a lot of ocean education and outreach like we're doing today. And lastly, a lot of research and development of undersea technology, which is all used for ocean exploration. So I want to take a few minutes now to talk about our partnership with NASA. Since 2001, NASA has been using Aquarius as a space analog to train astronauts, and this makes for a really interesting case study. Now, the reasons NEMO is successful are similar for most projects, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And NEMO actually stands for NASA's Extreme Environment Mission Operation. So what makes Aquarius the perfect extreme environment analog? First, Aquarius operations are not simulated. Once a crew commits to saturation, there is no departure without compromising the integrity of the entire mission. Just like when astronauts decide that they're going to go up to the International Space Station, once they commit to go, there is no departure from that. Also, the dimensions of the Destiny Lab, which is the American portion of the International Space Station, are very similar to that of Aquarius. And both the International Space Station and Aquarius have a crew complement of 6 that live, eat, and sleep in constant contact with one another. Since operations are not simulated, aquanauts have to go through a minimum of 5 days of intensive training so that they know exactly what every piece of dive and safety equipment is that they're going to be using during their operation. Now here I'm going to show you guys a video of aquanaut candidates from Mission 31, which give you an idea of some of the training that all the aquanauts actually have to go through.
Today was a pretty awesome day. We do the training the same with everybody. Don't be offended if you think you're the world's greatest super duper diver. We do these things the same way every time for safety reasons and continuity. It'll come out better for us. It's a lot of work by a lot of people. There are a lot of moving parts.
Full work as well. See how physically fit we are.
Doing good. One more lap to go. You're doing great.
400-yard swim. Able to do it like the pool underwater. It's a little more challenging than I thought it would be. It's just the beginning.
The helmet coming up. All right, so we're going to bring the helmet over. You're going to look up in there, right? Make sure that you get your chin coming down. There you go. Good.
Today we got a lot of knowledge. I have a feeling by the end of this week we're all going to be able to use this helmet in our sleep.
Right on your head, but doesn't you?
We were in class all day long, and we learned all sorts of things, including flow rates and how to turn on and off our emergency systems, as well as how to get our lines in order, so to speak, so we don't get tangled up in the flow rates and everything else. It was pretty amazing. I actually learned a lot about hard hat diving, and we got a chance to try the helmets that we're going to be using for Mission 31.
Put your head forward. There you go.
All right, good to go.
So we're going to do a test. Where's your EGS valve? Steady flow valve. Good to go.
They were definitely heavier than I thought, but apparently neutral in the water.
Trying on the helmet was cool. It's like I expected. It feels really tight when it goes over your head, and then your head is enclosed, so good thing I'm not claustrophobic.
And tomorrow, we're actually getting in the water and intentionally flooding a perfectly good helmet.
When the candidates put the helmet on, we have a tender monitoring the diver and holding onto the diver, making sure that they aren't tripping over something that's on the deck. And the helmet doesn't give you a wide field of vision, it has a very narrow field of vision.
All right, Fabian, I'm about to secure your primary air source.
Understood. Securing primary air source.
Once the candidate is ready, we'll proceed to flood the helmet.
It was one of those most comforting moments where I knew everything was going to go well, and sat back, relaxed, and just pulled that seal, and the helmet filled up, and did the drill just like we needed to, and all was good, just like Roger said. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. All right, good. All right.
All right. So aquanaut candidates, like you saw in that video, also run through a series of training exercises with all the equipment that they're going to be using during their mission. So everything that they have to do is carefully scripted out, just like a movie, so that when they go and enter Aquarius to live and work, they're quite familiar with all the tasks and all the instruments that they're going to be utilizing to carry out the aims of their mission. Now, onshore and offshore, Aquarius has an infrastructure that includes communication, telemetry, and video. So that's what allows us to connect to folks when we are actually down in Aquarius. Unfortunately, when the weather is bad, like on days like today, it makes it a little difficult. So all the operations are coordinated through all these various forms of communication that run through the life support buoy, which is that platform that you see in the top left-hand side of your screen. And it's all controlled by the watch desk supervisor back on shore, like you see in that top middle picture. We have 4 to 8 video cameras located both inside Aquarius and out on the reef that monitor every aspect of the operation and stream real-time back to the watch desk and through the internet. So hopefully if the weather improves, you guys can visit our website and you guys can actually see all the mission, basically all the divers and everyone working in the mission through the internet. Now this is valuable not only for monitoring the progress and safety of the team, but also provides for education and outreach events just like we're doing today that can be conducted during the mission. Now when we have astronauts, NASA also sets up a command center here at our shore base, and they tightly coordinate every mission-specific aspect of the project, working hand in hand with the watch desk. Now Aquarius has a highly trained support staff, just like we mentioned a little bit ago, which are really proficient in running extreme environment missions. We always have 2 habitat technicians living inside Aquarius that serve as an extension of the watch desk supervisor, living and working with the folks that we host underwater. So those were the guys that you guys were going to be connecting with today. Now we also have professional divers that are responsible for provisioning the habitat, which means bringing clean towels, equipment, and food and water. And they also assist in excursions when the divers go out in the water and ensure the safety of the operation. Staff also facilitates production quality programming, including one time we actually connected Aquarius to the International Space Station, just like you see in that bottom right-hand picture. Now, when we work with NASA, we do quite a bit of real cool stuff. Here we have pictures of surface EVA exploration, surface-based rover interactions, and astronaut construction tasks. These are some of the things that these guys actually do in space and practice underwater. And we're going to be showing you guys a video about that in a minute. And the reason that astronauts actually have to perform construction tasks is that one of the missions of NASA right now is to eventually go to Mars. If we go to Mars, eventually we're going to have to be building infrastructure there, so we practice all that underwater with the astronauts. Finally, NASA uses Aquarius to also measure how good crawling and flying robots work, how man and machine interact, and they practice using rovers that serve as transport vehicles that can actually take them from one side of Mars to the other, or one side of the moon to the other. Now this will show you guys what NASA is working on when they go to Aquarius.
This is Bullard, our test director, is running to disconnect. Other diver, Aquarius, stopping.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen. Okay, let's see. Am I doing that right? What am I doing, Joe?
Yep, you're back.
All right, perfect. Okay. So at least you guys got to see a little bit about what the astronauts do in terms of geologic sampling. So if you go to the moon or if you go to any other planetary surface, you're going to have to collect samples. You're going to have to travel from one end to the other. So they practice all those types of techniques and different experiments that they'll be conducting underwater with us.
Okay, I really like that last video. I hadn't seen that one before. You can see how they'd be using that gear and how they might use it on a mission in the future to sample an asteroid. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to turn on the microphone for the class joining us in Illinois, and I will give them an opportunity to ask some questions because I'm sure they have some after that.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. So go ahead and fire away.
All right, Rose, go ahead.
Why aren't there any other Aquariuses?
That's a really great question, actually. Why aren't there any other Aquariuses? So there have been different underwater habitats that have been built over the years, specifically since the 1960s to now, but they're very, very expensive. Aquarius costs $1.8 million a year to operate. So that's a lot of money. So many times, a lot of that funding is actually given to ships and other types of research vessels that travel from one place to the other instead of a habitat that's actually stationary. But as you saw, it's got so many different uses. I mean, not only can we look at marine science and oceanography and study, coral reef ecosystems and all the organisms it supports, it's also an amazing place where you can train people like astronauts. So it does have various uses, more so than a research vessel or a ship would have. It's a great question.
Can I ask?
Go ahead, you can ask another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you guys get the funding?
Where do we get the funding? So we used to get funding from the government, and unfortunately the government has cut quite a bit of the research funding that it gave to scientists. So a lot of the money that we actually get are from foundations, families, really rich people out there that care about the environment. They care about saving coral reefs and fish, so we get quite a bit of funding from them. What we do with the United States Navy, actually, taxpayers pay for that. So anybody, your parents, your guardians, anyone who takes care of you and pays taxes basically help support those types of initiatives. And the government funding also goes through NASA when they come down there, so that's also a government-funded program. We write a lot of grants to different types of agencies, the Environmental Protection Agency and different types of agencies that support causes that we're aligned with. So we get money from different sources. Another great question, are you going to be a scientist one day?
Maybe.
Looks like it. Hi.
Hi. In Aquarius, do they have to eat different kinds of food than we eat up here, or do they eat foods like we do astronauts?
That's a great question. Yeah, they eat pretty much. The food is terrible. So Aquarius, as you saw, is really small. It's a highly pressurized environment, so we can't have an oven or anything like that that could potentially risk the fact that we'd get a fire. So we do have a microwave. So macaroni and cheese is a popular favorite. Peanut butter cookies and crackers are a popular favorite. M&Ms are popular. Milk goes bad really fast. Fruit goes bad really fast. So normally what they eat is mountain house food, which is a type of freeze-dried camping food. So, the food comes in a package, you put some boiling water in it, and voila. Now, they say it doesn't taste very good, so they just put hot sauce on everything, and that tends to help. Normally, the missions that we host last anywhere from 7 to 11 days. So by the end, they're begging for a pizza, for someone to take a pizza down there to them.
Shala Garcia and Madeline Sevilla.
Sorry,
Attention, girls soccer. There is no practice today.
And also,
Practice has been canceled. German Mello, Madeline.
Like a school with announcements.
Yeah, sorry, they're a little loud.
It's okay.
Okay, but she's got another good question.
Okay.
how did they get chosen to go down there in Aquarius?
How do they get chosen? Well, it all depends. If it's part of a science team, then they have to come with the funding. They have to come with the money in order to be able to do the actual experiments. They have to have a good, solid project, something that is going to matter, is going to make a difference, and hopefully, really give us some insight into some sort of marine science topic or theme, like a coral reef or fisheries. In terms of astronauts, they go through a lot of training and they get selected based on their skills, how many years they've been in the program, and what path they've decided to take. So it really is specific to the objective of the particular mission. Our job is to receive our clients, put them down in Aquarius, and facilitate whatever research or training they want to do. So it's really not up to us to select the aquanauts. It's up to those that come to us and say, hey, I want to use Aquarius because I have this great idea and I really want to find the answer out to it. Now, they won't be allowed to go down there if they're not physically fit, if they don't pass all the different training exercises and exams that we can do. They have to go through training, in-class training as well, so if they don't do well in that, then they will not be cleared to go down. So they have to go through kind of 2 levels of approvals to go down there. Why are you interested in coming down one year?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. It'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, guys. Sorry, middle schoolers, they just kind of take off the Belgian
It's okay. It's okay.
So
It's okay.
out of here. Thank you so much. I think it's so neat to hear about this. And Joe, thank you. I know things didn't go as planned, but I appreciate you still letting us hear your presentation and learn about what's going on. I mean, it's so impressive, and I love being able to show these kids, really what's happening, and they get to be a part of it, and then they hear it in news and read it in magazines, and they know that, we got to do that in our own classroom. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for sticking around. It's always great to have your class, any class. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad you guys hung out.
We appreciate it, okay?
All right. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
I will. You too. Bye, guys.
Right.
Bye.